'Was nearly 11 o'clock in the evening when Bronwyn Anderson, Aaron Anderson, and Haley Maynard rode down a long, twisting road into the night. Suddenly, we heard a string of rapid curses from the front seat.
Dazed and confused, Haley and I lifted our heads.
Mom, why are we slowing down?
In which Bronwyn replied, Soon after, it became quite apparent to Aaron Anderson and Haley Maynard that they had run out of gas.
To our left was a dramatically lit factory clothed in darkness and ominously standing in the shadows.
Aaron said,
Viva El
Yes,
France!
she said that.
And then I stated,
That ominous factory to our left looks like a villainous hideout.
Aaron was correct. It was indeed a villainous hideout. LOL, look at those losers running out of gas outside of our lair.
haha, so funny.
We should jump them.
Ava, no!
Maybe you're right. It feels great to be a villain, and no one suspects us at all.
Are you sure? I suppose I did find a great location for us, didn't I, Avon? Best secret hideout ever!
It's not so secret, Frank. Your name's on the lease.
My mother sat in the front, ashamed of what she'd done. Distressed, she contacted her husband, Keith, who was at home nearly 25 minutes away.
Aaron and I were confused, tired, hungry, and utterly alone.
As one would normally respond to these kinds of situations, I pulled out my iPhone and raised it towards Haley.
Want to make a movie?
Obviously, I said, Yes!
First, we filmed the dark moon shining over the villain's lair factory.
We were still terrified, but continued with our efforts to document the journey.
My mother pointed in the distance dramatically and said,
So close, yet so far.
Blinking, I looked confusedly at Aaron, who tried to snap a photo of the moment, but ended up blinding oncoming traffic.
Abort mission?
Aaron has a moment of panic, and it is then that Bronwyn suggests that we push the car to the gas station.
There were several issues on that matter.
One of them was that we didn't have a choice!
My mother threw us out of the car into the cold October night air. She rolled down her window and pointed into the distance once more with a wavering finger. She said,
I see a gas station. Push us there.
Scrambled behind the car and tried to push, but we were small weaklings, and Bronwyn got out of the car and began to push too, telling us to get in the front to drive. Well, I got in the back seat. I'm a very small weakling.
Meanwhile, on my way to the driver's seat, a semi came out of nowhere and nearly squished me against the car.
Thankfully, Erin's slightly fast reflexes caused her to leap on top of the car and save her own life. I watched from the back seat, horrified.
You don't want to know what else also happened? While I was stuck on top of the car, my mother now in the driver's seat once more, the cops pulled up out of nowhere in the dark October night. My immediate thought was, uh-oh.
And mine was, where did Erin go?
Help me!
From behind, the cops opened their door ever so slightly. I glanced up and saw Erin's face smushed against the glass. Bronwyn and I, in unison, leapt into action and pressed the button to open the sunroof.
Just as the cops approached the window, I tumbled into the passenger seat and sat completely still.
However, the cop had not noticed this incident, as he was checking out the supervillain there behind us. Perhaps he knew, like us, how truly villainous it was.
I sat casually in the front seat, as if I'd been there the entire time.
What's the problem here?
Aaron and I glanced at each other, trying to figure which one he was referring to.
We ran out of gas, officer. My husband's on his way to help.
In addition, he asked for her license. Cop turned around and went back to his vehicle to speak with the other officer in the car. Bronwyn opened her wallet, then turned to Aaron, a panicked look in her eyes.
It's in the glove box.
Bronwyn reached across the seat and opened the glove box, pulling it out in relief. Finally, the silence that followed was calming.
This expired!
Just then, Keith showed up, looking pale in his St. Bernard pajamas. He got out of his Z with a bucket of gas and began to fill up the tank. The cops casually chatted in the car, probably relieved that they didn't have a serious case to deal with. Well, yet.
Once my father was done, he raised the empty bucket towards the officers. He said charismatically, raising the bucket and shuffling back to his car. Within minutes he had come and gone, and we had gas once more.
But that wasn't all.
I need to see your ID. Your ID, ma'am. I need to see your ID.
She almost handed it over.
Instead, she slammed on the gas and whisked us away. Sunroof open and cold air pouring into the car.
My ID is expired.
I wish I could say that was the end. Oh wait, what's that? It is the end.
Yes, this is the story of how my mother became a criminal.
Right, so, long story short, the cops did not chase us, and Aaron and I reviewed our footage of the crime on the way home. Sadly, it was all black due to it being a dark and cold night. This left us to recall the story as truthfully as possible on this fine Thanksmas.
Happy Thanksmas, everyone.